Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another video. If you are new here, my name is Lonyea, and in this video we're going to be talking about the new ABH Amrezy palette. If you haven't seen it, or if you don't follow ABH on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, if you're living under a rock, they collaborated with one of the biggest beauty influencers on Instagram in the game, and her name is Amrezy. So they created a palette. This palette actually has way more shades than any other palette. Like most ABH palettes have 14 different shades. This one has 16, and when I saw that I was like, wow, they really couldn't cut down some shades. But you know, I feel like when you create a palette, you kind of want to make sure that you include every single thing that you're going to use and what you're going to like. So the palette is really pretty. The sleeve is like a light pink, kind of like just like a glossy kind of finish, and then when you open up the palette or open up the box, it has this like glitter, like light pink glittery kind of packaging. It's not like the glitter doesn't come off, which I like, but it's still 3D, so you can still feel the glitter on the packaging. And then it has Amra's signature in Amrezy, and it's in gold or bronze depending on whatever you think it is, but it's really pretty. I think that the cohesion with the palette and the sleeve all goes really well, and I think it looks really well. This palette does retail for, I think it's $49, but I ended up paying for 2-day shipping, so I think it ended up being like $52 or something like that after shipping and everything. But I think you can get like free shipping on the ABH website, or you can buy it when the palette launches in store, which I think it launches in store next week, because I think they usually do like a pre-sale like for like early birds, and then they do the sale, which it launched yesterday, and then you go ahead and you can buy it in store so you can feel it, touch it, and see it and everything like that. Because I know when it comes to like palettes and foundations and concealers and highlighters and things like that, you want to see what it looks like on your skin tone and if it's going to work and if it's going to be something that you're going to use. So I definitely understand that. But when you open up the palette, you can see all of the different shades. And when I first saw this palette like online, I was like, wow, that's a lot of pinks. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a lot of looks out of it, because I'm not a big like pink girl. The only time that I really do pinks is usually around like I almost said Thanksgiving, around Valentine's Day time. That's the only time that I really think to play up like pinks and stuff like that. But once I got the palette, I noticed that the pinks all were very different, and not really pink. It's not really that pink. So hear me out. The first row is pretty much all shimmers except for Wasted. So you have Wasted, which is like a light nude, Barb, which is this really pretty light pink, but it's like a iridescent. It has like some greens and blues underneath of it. Like, it's gorgeous. It's what I have on my eyes right now. Then we have Liddy, which is a pressed glitter. It's a bronze with like pink reflects. And then Cupcake, which is not really a pink. It's more of a purpley pink. I think it gears more towards like purple than it does pink. Then you have Dragon, which is a kind of like a coppery, orangey coppery shade. It's like a universal bronze. Then you have Leo, which is a really pigmented. Like, this one was probably the most pigmented among swatches in my opinion, and it's like a really bright teal blue. Then you have Gemini, which is another pressed glitter, and it's another like bronzy glitter. This one doesn't really have too many undertones or reflex like Liddy does, but it's a really pretty bronze. And then you have Gorgina, which is another like deeper bronzy brown kind of shade. So the first row is, like I said, pretty much all mattes. All of them swatched really well. If I had to give you guys two of my favorite shades out of that row alone, it would probably be Barb, which is on my eyes, which it's just like really reflective and pretty, and I tried to do like a different kind of look today, so hence the reason why my eyes look like they do. But anyways, and then my second favorite was probably Leo, because it swatched really nice. It's really buttery. Oh my gosh, it was such a pretty, really nice texture, and the blue is like bam, like it's like no other blue that I've seen. The only thing that like I think that doesn't really go with the palette is the blue. However, it is her one pop of color because as you can see, everything else is cohesive, everything else goes with each other, everything else can mix with each other, and then there's that blue, which I know from when Jackie Aina did her palette that Norvina usually likes to recommend her collaborators to have that one pop color, that one standout color to make the palette, you know, pop and stand out. So I definitely know where they come from, but that's what I thought when I first saw the palette, was just like, But it is also her husband's favorite color, so I know that whenever I get the chance to make a palette, I will make sure that my husband's color is his favorite color. So I definitely understand it. I get it. The second row is majority mattes, but you have a couple of shimmers. So you have Reezy, which is a really pretty hot pink. That one also swatched really nice. Then you have Anastasia, which is a lighter kind of like golden pink. And then you have New Yorker. Like, listen, I'm from Illinois, so excuse me. Which is just like a warm, like orangey brown. And then you have OG, which is a little deeper, but still amongst those, you know, warm orangey kind of brown shades. Then you have Shimsa, excuse me. Shimsa, which is her mother's name, and that is like a purple plum magenta kind of shade. Then you have 1988, which is a rich chocolate brown, BK, which is a black, and then you have Yugo, which is kind of like a purpley brown. So Yugo is way different than 1988, as you can see in swatches. Yugo has more like purpley brown. It's a brown with more purpley violet undertones, and then 1988 is a brown with more chocolatey red undertones. So all these shades are extremely different. If you want an in-depth like comparison video, I will link down the video that I watched yesterday. I usually don't watch too many reviews before I film, just mainly because I don't want to be biased or anything like that. The only thing that I did watch was Amrezy's, her, like, when she was talking about it on Instagram. Like, I was, like, stalking that lady's Instagram, y'all. Let me tell you, I was all over it. Like, let me see what this palette is all about. I want to know what the names mean. I want to know what everything is. If you haven't watched her Instagram, she does or if you haven't watched her video, she does have an IGTV video on her Instagram where you can go and look, and she'll explain her thinking behind everything, every single name, and she also does a makeup look with it. However, Sahony, I think it is Sahony Boudre. I will have this link down below, but this video was really good. She compared all of the ABH palettes that she had against this Amrezy palette, because I know, being an ABH stan, that a lot of people think that ABH palettes all look the same, and they don't. I mean, some of them are similar. Like, I could think that Modern Renaissance would be similar to this one. However, when you watch her video after you watch mine, she lists all the different palettes. She shows you them side by side, as well as swatching shades that she thinks appears to be similar. And I was watching that, and I'm like, like, looking at the palette, it's like, okay, I could think of like 5 palettes that maybe has that shade or something like that, and like, oh, I already have that shade. But once she swatches them, they're different. Like, they're the same, but they're different, you know? Like, it's like a smidge darker or a smidge lighter or something like that, which I think personally, being a smidge darker or a smidge lighter could either work for my skin tone or not work for my skin tone. In the case of the Amrezy palette, every single shade works with my skin tone. The only shade that I probably wouldn't get as much use out of is Wasted, but I'm not gonna sit here and tell you guys to buy another palette, because I know how much people hate that. But I will say, once this palette goes to Ulta or Sephora, make sure you go and check it out. Like, if you're at the mall one day and you're like, let me go and check out that Amrezy palette, touch it, feel it, smell it, swatch it on your skin, see how it looks. Think about, like, will I get as many uses out of this palette as, say, maybe another palette? For me personally, I am probably going to do a palette series, and the main reason for me doing and buying these palettes is to show you before you spend your coins, because palettes are expensive. Like, I was like, how am I supposed to afford this palette? But I got to. So this palette also sparked my, like, oh my gosh, I gotta film. Like, I haven't had that feeling in such a long time, and this palette did that for me. And this shade Barb is so unique, you guys. It's so pretty and it's so unique, and I just knew I had to do a look with it. It's gorgeous. So I'm really excited to do other looks with this palette. As I mentioned, it has 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 different shades. So the most that ABH has put in her palettes, 16 different shades. It is curated by the influencer Amrezy, and it has quite a bit of pinks, but when you look at it, it has Reezy, Barb, and Anastasia that I would consider pink, and then Cupcake is a little more magenta purpley pink, and then everything else is pretty neutral. So I think if you were to kind of like cut out like this quad right here, if this quad right here wasn't here, I think this palette would still be nice, but I think a lot more people would think that it'd be more wearable because they would probably wear those shades. But let me tell you guys, like, look at that. I got swatches on my hand. That's how pigmented it is. Let me tell you guys that even shades that you think you might not use or might not wear, those shades are perfect for like pops of color or doing like a wing liner with the eyeshadow or just a smoky line with the eyeshadow. Those shades are perfect for that because it's not all over your lid. It's just a nice little touch. So if you do like your neutral eye on top, I think that Leo would be perfect along the bottom as like that pop of teal, that pop of blue, and it would just be smacking. I think that's what I'm gonna end up doing with Leo, because I want to do like a look with it, but I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm gonna leave him on the lower lash line because I think it's I don't know yet. Don't quote me because I don't know what I'm gonna do. However, I did record this eye look, which I will include at the end of this video. So I think that's all I have for you guys. If you have any questions at all, if I left out anything that you are wondering about, you can leave it down below. I mean, I guess I could tell you guys what the names are, but I mean, you could also go to her channel or go to her IG. Wasted is because her waist is like literally like this little. Barb is because she is a Barb. She calls herself like the head Barb from I think it's Nicki Minaj's like name, like her fan names. Liddy, she's always Liddy. Cupcake, I forget why she said Cupcake. I think that's Cupcake is what Norvina calls her, which Norvina is the creative CEO or something or another with ABH. And then Dragon is because she was born in the Chinese year of the dragon. Leo is her husband. Gemini is her astrological sign, which my grandma's a Gemini and so is my sister, and they are crazy. Let me tell you. Let me tell y'all, I'm Sagittarius and I feel like we're the best sign. We get along with everybody, but Geminis are crazy. So, and then Gorgina is what she calls Norvina. And then Reezy is because she's a Reezy and she calls her like fans the Reezy Riders, which I'm a Reezy Rider, okay? I buy like any and everything that she collabs with except her first palette. I was broke and I couldn't afford it. And then Anastasia, because without Anastasia she wouldn't be able to make this palette a thing. New Yorker, because she's from New York. And then OG is I forget why she said she's an original gangsta. I forget. I think that's what it was. And then Shimsa is her mother's name. 1988. She was born in 1988. And then BK is she's from Brooklyn, which I think is Uncle Burrow or something. I don't know. I'm from little town nothing, Illinois, so I have no idea. And then Hugo, I forget what she said about Hugo. Ooh, I forget. That one's the only one that I'm like, I don't remember, and I don't want to misquote. So if you need any other questions, or if you have any questions or any confusion or anything like that, make sure that you leave me a comment down below. Also, make sure you go to Amrezy's Instagram and check out her video. I'm going to quit rambling because I'm already at 14 minutes, and like, this video shouldn't even have been this long. However, I wanted to make sure that I touch base on everything. I will say this is probably my second favorite packaging from ABH. I really love the Jackie Aina palette. I love the iridescentness, the snakeskin prints. It was just really pretty. I love that palette. But this one probably is second. And I'm not a big like glittery pink person. I'm not a big pink girl, but this is pretty. This is pretty and this is popping. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you stay tuned for this makeup tutorial. It'll just be one eye, and it'll probably be something really quick and fast. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I love you all. I'll catch you guys in the next video. I'm about to go make my husband a BLT because I'm so hungry right now. So hungry. Bye, guys. Oh, don't forget to subscribe. It's free.